I want to talk a little bit about growing a team. When I first started business, right, I started with 5 of my friends, and we're five. Two later kind of joined in, but like they joined in down the line, so it became 7. So I didn't really understand what partnership really was. I just knew that people coming together, we share profits based on our contribution. I think everybody contributed the money amount that they had, and it was a total of 25,000 naira, and we were able to use that. This was after I had done branding for somebody, earned 4,000 naira, 3,000 naira actually, added 1k, got 4,000 naira. That was kind of like what I tried to use to start doing my fashion brand at that time. And then I started the partnership. We brought in together 25k. I was able to kind of push it up a little bit, but it didn't move actually, it didn't sell. But what I just made sure was that they get their returns, and I kind of like make some profits in some way, which I did. I was able to close the partnership, and basically that was how that ended. I had like experiences with different people, and I even had to like let go of somebody, and then she's no longer a friend of mine again today. So I guess that's that. But after then, I had like a set of employees that were working with me at Serifix. Then it was Ganeta Graphics at that time, and I remember we had like a client from Ghana, and the client never paid, and then because of that, everything kind of like just went downhill. And again, they were studying architecture, so it was kind of like really complicated, because I studied architecture too, and I know how like it could be trying to like run both at the same time, you know, doing work and school. So it kind of just didn't work out, and they just kind of went silent, and I just said, let me just let them go. So like they really went. And at that time, I was at a point where I didn't know what to do on how to like, because what I wanted to do with Ganeta Graphics then was be a design agency, which is now Serifix today. And luckily for me, I'm a very good teacher. Like, I know how to teach things, right? Which I didn't even know I knew how to, like, for a long time. I just kind of figured that out like recently, like some years back, right? So there was this guy, a friend of mine. He was like that, would you, I think I told him about the issues I was having with Serifix, and he was like, oh, he knows some people that are interested in branding and they want to learn. So I was like, okay, like let's put them in a group chat, and like I'll teach them and stuff, and then I kind of like pick people that would join my team from there. So I kind of like had that introduction at the first time when I met them in the WhatsApp group. And they were like, yeah, you know, basically everybody was kind of like working towards, oh, let's have like a stable job and stuff like that. So out of all of that, 3 of them joined in, and those 3 people, only 1 of them left, and 2 of them are still with me today. So, but that was like the initial phase of like actually recruiting a team properly, I would say, somewhat of properly, because I didn't do like interview, checking your CV and all that stuff. I was just mainly looking at like skill and people that actually want to be in the vision. And I was able to kind of see out people that were unserious, because a lot of people didn't even take the classes at all, they didn't even do the assignments, nothing like that. So it was kind of like funny, but that's kind of like how that went. And from there, I was able to set a foundation, and I started to talk to people that were interested in Serifix, and I tried to get them on board. I'm letting them know that payment is per client project. So whenever we have a client project, is when you work and then you get paid. So that was how it was at that time. And then after a while, I was able to get out people amongst them that were really, really passionate about the vision of Serifix, and they became like the admin team. So those ones kind of like do things for Serifix now. So like, let's say if Serifix wants to, like our Christmas New Year post, it was one of them that handled it for this last year that just passed. So that's kind of like how we transitioned. And then from there, we actually did like a proper employment, like, you know, submit your CV and stuff like that. And we employed 2 web guys, like 2 guys that are into the web design and web development space. So that's like the journey pretty much. And from this journey and experience, I have some tips that I would like to give you guys. I actually have a video on like employing like I'll probably link the video up. I don't know if it's still relevant now, but I know that video kind of got a comment where like person was really learned a lot from it. So but I'm just gonna add some new tips, at least from what I've learned this past few months with your recruitment and everything, basically how to go about. Okay, so let's get on into the tips. By the way, I just finished setting up. I'm actually packing. I'm going for my sister's convocation at Covenant University, so I just had to like lay down all my stuff and prepare to pack. But before I go on with my packing, let's run through the tips that I have for growing a team. Right, so the first tip that I have here is to employ based on your level as a business. So obviously, if you're starting as a business, right, you don't necessarily have the resources to be able to pay someone every month based on their qualification, like the skill level that they are at. So basically what you want to do is, if you're starting out, you employ people based on the fact that you're able to kind of train them. You employ people that are kind of like in the middle of starting their career. Those kind of people will be looking for opportunities to learn as they work, right? You'll be looking for basically interns, pretty much. That's group of people that you're going to be looking for, and you want to be able to be the center and the core of everything that they do. So basically, at the same time as they're working, you're kind of like helping them to grow, and as they improve in their skill, then you start to give them more responsibilities like that. But what I do is that at the level of my business that I am right now, it's kind of like in the starting phase. We're entering the phase where we're trying to become stable. But by the time when I was starting out, right, I basically was focusing. So basically, when you do that, what happens is that you're able to give you have access to different compensation methods that can be given to people that are not full-time staff, people that you're not like paying salary based on their like level of skill and all of that. But if you're a type of business that you're already getting into that phase where you be able to pay people on a consistent basis every month, maybe your service business already has like clients that are paying, retained clients basically, that are paying on a monthly basis. You basically have constant flow of income and you're able to pay salary, then you can go ahead to start paying a salary every month. But what I usually advise people starting out is to pay per client project, basically a compensation that is based on any client job that they work on, and then you basically are able to give them guidance pretty much for free. Like, you're not going to charge them for that or anything like that. You kind of just make sure your team grows. That's basically second one. Consider various compensation methods. So aside from paying salary, what other compensation methods exist? There's also another option of recruiting people based on contract. So instead of recruiting them as staff of your business, you recruit them as freelancers that work for you once in a while. So for example, if you have like some projects that kind of come up once in a blue moon, you don't necessarily need to employ somebody for that. You can always just go into contract with a freelancer and let them know that you pay them a certain amount whenever they work on any project that comes up, but they're not in your team. And in that case, you don't have any responsibility of like training them or anything like that. They're not part of your team. That's another option. See your team as part of the business and not slaves to you. So what I would say is that when you're building a team, there's something called internal branding. So I don't know if you guys have seen Google's headquarters before, or Amazon's headquarters. Those places are really, really nice in the sense that they made the environment so conducive for the staff to be able to feel like they're at home, so that it helps to improve their productivity. So, but you as a small business, obviously you're not at that scale of like Google yet. So what I would advise you to do is to kind of just put systems in place that would encourage your team and make them feel like part of a vision, and make them feel like, yes, they are part of people that are going to make this vision to be a success, to be realized, rather than saying, oh, they are working for me, pretty much. So things like setting up meeting together to eat and gist and play, setting up retreats, stuff like that. And then you can also do things where in your group chat, you just kind of be chill. You don't have to be like, hey, you do this, hey, you do that, you do this. No, you just have to be like really be chill with them, depending on the kind of leader you are and the kind of company you want to kind of put up. But for my own company, we're designers, we want to kind of give that room for creativity and all of that. So sometimes we usually send like IG reels to ourselves. Sometimes we just pick up a phone and just call one of them and just be like, hey, what's up, I just want to check on you, that kind of thing. And then also consistently let them know what we're building, like what you're building in your business. So basically, you want to make sure that you're letting them know what you're building, basically letting them know that vision and letting it be part of them. So by the time they hear it over and over and over and over again, it becomes part of them. So like I said, letting them know the vision so that they kind of like get accustomed to it and they kind of get used to it. That's another thing. So basically these are pretty much the things that, oh yeah, there's one more thing, standard operations manuals. So or standard operation procedures, SOPs. So basically SOPs are like documents. It's supposed to be a document sharp that like you would put together, that has processes to follow for each task. So but then at the beginning stage you're kind of like still forming that procedure. So for example, now we had our first retainer client last year, and that's for content. We had our first client for content creation, so like creating content for their page every month. I would say we haven't done that before, so I have to like come up with a procedure that would work like pretty much in instant. So like at the beginning stage you kind of be working towards bringing them together, but after a while you want to settle down to actually put them into a document and give that document to everybody so that they can be able to know what to do and when. And then I would say make it easier to delegate tasks so that they're not even confused of what they're supposed to do and their deadlines. So I use platforms like Asana. Asana is a platform that we use for my service business. It can also work for a product business if you have people that are working with you. So basically what that does is that you're able to delegate tasks. Everybody has their own account, and it's a mobile app and a web app as well, so they can download the mobile app. They get notifications in their email whenever their task is almost due and stuff like that. You're able to kind of arrange with timelines, and everybody can see like for every project what's supposed to be done and when. So like that kind of like makes everything easy and less confusing whenever you're working with your team. So these are kind of the things that I have to share. That's regards growing a team and kind of building a strong team. One thing that I would say builds a strong team is the personality, being personal with each other, and like knowing that basically you feel connected to each other as a team, right? So and you get used to working with each other. So but then it takes time to kind of build this. So I want you to be patient with your staff and all of that. So I hope this video was helpful. That's kind of like everything that I have for this video. My next video would be coming up, and we'll be talking about entrepreneurial mindset. So that's all for today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.